Salam sejahtera Dr. Norafifah. We are from Group 5. We will present about the motivation in the theories of biological and social cognitive.
Assalamualaikum and hello, my name is Norafifah Fatina binti Ridwan with matrix number BP21060338. So what is motivation? Motivation is an internal process. Whether we define it as a motivation or a need, motivation is a condition within us that desire a change either of ourselves or of the environment. The essence of motivation is energetic and persistent, called direct behavior. When we are motivated, we move and act. Motivation is influenced by the satisfaction of need necessary for the maintenance of life or necessary for happiness and growth. So psychology defines motivation as the process by which activity are initiated, direct and maintained, so that needs are met. Need can be psychological, like need validation, or physical, like need food. Psychologists have several theories about the force that causes an individual to act. Some of these theories are based on need, others are based on instinct and excitement. So motivational study in psychology revolves around providing the best possible answer to two basic questions. One is what causes behavior, and the second is why behavior differ in intensity. So psychologists offer comprehensive opinion on understanding dynamic based on different type of analysis. Means of cognitive analysis, behavior prediction, and emotion are often used to explain end-state motivation or goal expectation. So motivational theory is often divided into content theory and process theory. So content theory is explain what motivation is, and process theory explain how motivation arises. There are also motivational cognitive theory that explain how we and the world around us affect our motivation. From self-concept, dishonest thought to value, direction, and perceived control, this theory can strengthen or undermine our preference for a particular mental structure in our ability to act intentionally. So motivational theory are also grouped according to the area of human effort they are related to. Some theory related to incentive and need focus employee motivation, and theory used in sport and performance. Psychology consider that as emotion to be a more important driving force for human behavior. Some of this theory also apply to education and learning. So motivation has three main components. The one is activation, persistence, and intensity. The degree of these components of motivation can impact whether or not you achieve your goal. That's all from me. Thank you.
Salam sejahtera Dr. Norafifah. My name is Sylvia Komei and my matrix number is BP21110095. I will talk about core concept of motivation. And before I speak further, I should first let you know what is motivation. In general, motivation is an action, intention, and goals are all motivated by motivation. And there's a reason for our action and behaviors. There are two types of motivation, that is biological and social cognitive. So, what are the difference between these two motivation? I will first talk about biological motivation. Biological motivation is caused by biological factors such as hormones, neuron transmitters, and brain structures. This motivation are the outcome of homeostasis and the propensity for interdependent elements to maintain steady balance, particularly as maintain physiological process. So what are the example of biological motivation? Firstly is hunger. Why do humans eat? We eat because we feel hungry, of course, but there is a deficiency in the quantity of glucose in our blood to support activity. Once that glucose is restored, hunger will disappear, which means we will not feel hungry anymore after we eat. So other than that reason, people eat because need of survive. So the next example of biological motivation is thirst. What human do when they're thirsty? They will drink water. Okay, so thirst is caused by the loss of water from cells and a drop in blood volume. Water exits the insides of the cells when body fluids lose water, so that human will drink water to restore to stay hydrated. So the third example of biological motivation is sex. So there's 3 hormones that motivate or increase sexual desire, which is estrogen, progestins, and androgens. These hormones that stimulate human sexual activity. That is for biological motivation. As I said, there's difference between biological motives and social cognitive motives. Social cognitive motives are personal in nature. This motivation only can be understood by the person who experiences it. Social cognitive motives are usually referred to psychological needs, which are very important for mental wellness. Because some people fail to fulfill social cognitive motives, it can lead to mental health problems, which can affect their behavior. So, what are the examples of social cognitive motives? Firstly, need of achievement. People need of achievement means like they desire to achieve some goals. Like people seek for it because they want to look better than others, to excel and to take difficult activity in order to demonstrate their abilities to others. So the next is curiosity motives. People will have a curiosity when they see something, they want to know what is it about. For example, curiosity involves the concept of engaging in activities for sake of enjoyment without regard for any motivating objective or goal. Curiosity expresses itself in the desire to learn new things and solve some issues. So last is aggression. Aggression is one of the social cognitive motives, which means they have an instinct. They are seen in both living things, which is human and animals. Aggression is the motivating the act of harming others and also intending to hurt others. For example, bullying, murder, and also it can be self-defense. So, going back to our discussion, there is clearly have so many differences between these two types of motivation, which are biological motivation and social cognitive motivation. Biological motivation are more focused on motivation in biological theory. Biological motives factors determine an organism motivate behavior, while social cognitive motivation focus more on environmental factors that motivated one person desires. That's it for core concept of biological and social cognitive motivation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Delilah, BP 211-60594. I'm going to talk about area of concern differences between biological theory and social cognitive theory of motivation. So, let's jump into biological theory. Biological theory is focusing on biological and physiological processes. In this theory, we need to understand about homeostasis.
So what is homeostasis? In biology, homeostasis is a state of steady internal, physical, and chemical conditions maintained by living systems. It is important because homeostasis helps in the efficient functioning of internal, physiological processes. When there are changes in homeostasis levels, the individual is motivated to bring them back to their original state.
The instinct theory made by William James is one of the examples of biological theories in motivation. William James proposed that behavior is controlled by several instincts that help people to survive. During James' times, human behaviors such as mother's love for her child, the urge to lick sugar, and also animal hunting were counted as natural instinct. Next, let's talk about social cognitive theory of motivation. This theory, social cognitive theory, is focusing on previous learning.
In addressing individual behavior change, social cognitive theory considers multiple layers of the social ecological model. Given the emphasis on the individual and the environment, which has become a primary focal point for health promotion initiatives, this theory has been widely used in many areas.
According to Albert Bandura, one of the famous psychologists, he said that social cognitive theory postulates that people's actions reflect their values. One of the examples that we can see in this theory is students are motivated to achieve when they perceive their goals to be aligned with the outcomes that are important to them. That's it from me. Thank you.
My name is Vimalan and I'm going to present about the instinct theory. The instinct theory of motivation sees biological or genetic programming as the cause of motivation. This claims assumes that all humans have the same motivations because we share the same biological programming. This theory suggests that the basic motivation for all action is the need to survive. Our motivation to survive can be linked to a variety of alternative motivations. These can include wanting to feel powerful or in control, wanting to feel safe or secure, or simply wanting to feel alive. Motivation is what leads us to act or behave in certain way. This motivation can come with things like feelings or emotions or from our goals and ambitions. As a result, all of our actions are viewed as incentive. For example, there are many cases where it is incentiveful for a mother to comfort a baby who has been crying all night and who has been staying up late. There are lots of psychologists who have talked and had ideas about this theory, but mainly William James and Sigmund Freud were the primary theorists in this field of instinct motivation. They believed that instinct were fundamental drives that were initiate and automatic, and that they played an important role in human behaviors. These two theories have different hypotheses about why people act in ways that seems instinctual. Both psychologists argue that humans are designed to survive and thrive in their environment. They focus on different aspects of this theory, but ultimately arrive at the same conclusion. Their behavior will reflect their will to survive. But there are many different factors that influence human behavior, and it is hard to say which is most important. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Wardah Tijana binti Aziz. My metric number is BP2110189. So I will present to you about social cognitive motivation theory, which is incentive theory. So social cognitive theory is actually started with as social learning theory, which introduced by Albert Bandura. And then it changed to social cognitive theory in 1986. This theory is about the process of understanding and observing the society, which help us to know how to survive in the world and teaches us how to attend and survive in certain social situations. Social cognition is related with a person's decision making, self-concept, and other fields of topics. Social cognition theory also a theory of behavior maintenance which describes how people conduct their behavior through self-control and incentive to achieve goals. Okay, it's directly related to incentive theory, which introduced by B.F. Skinner, a behaviorist. So, what is incentive theory, or it is also called as reinforcement theory, and or incentive is something that encourages a person to do something, and it is also something that provides someone to make sure that provides positive action, and it is a way to ensure that the action will likely to occur. Okay, other than that, it is also something that provides someone to avoid a negative action, and it is likely to stop someone from repeating the same action. Based on Albert Bandura, he stated in his theory that there are two significant things that affect individuals, which is self-efficacy and reciprocal interaction. Incentive theory is one from the 5 things in his theory. Okay, incentive is something provided to make sure that someone do an action or stop an action. The theory of motivation institutionally can be seen and related with corporate culture, with employers use a lot of rewards and benefits or punishment to their employees to ensure that their employees perform the best performance while working. The theory makes use of rewards and punishment for every behavior. This theory not only comes from external motivation, it is also involves internal motivation, which is external motivation come from the society or the surrounding, and internal motivation is from someone's inner self, someone's needs and desire. External motivation is like your needs and necessity, and any workplace, the rules and regulations are provided to avoid any consequences and loss. The incentive theory fulfills individual motives, needs, and also provide feeling of accomplishment toward individuals. That's all from me. Thank you. So I will pass to another presenter.
So, in conclusion, motivation is the impetus to act on a series of human perilous process by considering the direction of intensity and perseverance in achieving goal, while the element contained in motivation include the element of evoking, directing, maintaining, showing intensity, persistent nature, and the existence of goals. That's all for us. Thank you.